and broadcast this. All right. I think we're live.
I think we are live as well.
What's going on, everybody? It's Elena and Andrew with HitTrax. Excited to have you joining us today.
I think we are live as well.
What's going on, everybody? Perfect. All right. I think the double feedback stopped.
I think it did.
Go. No, I think we're good. I think we're good.
Beautiful.
So we can wait a little bit for people to file in. You know, we want to be sensitive to everybody's time. I know it's kind of a middle of the day here, but we were hoping to hit the East Coast at lunch break and the West Coast people in the first couple of cups of coffee. So hopefully this will be a good time. Again, we'll have all of this recorded and we'll follow up with the link after the session. So if you have to sign off early or you have any questions or you want to go back and review, you'll have that opportunity as well.
If you have questions too, Elena will be running the show, but I'll keep my eye on the Q&A. So hopefully we can address most of the stuff just in conversation, but if not, we can just write back to you and find a point to bring up the answers as well too. So it looks like we got a couple people on.
Cool. All right. Well, I think we should just kick this thing off. Again, to introduce myself, I'm Elena with HitTrax. This is Andrew Barry with HitTrax as well. We're really excited to be hosting the Open coming up here next week. So we're going to go through a lot of information. Again, this will all be recorded and Andrew is going to be monitoring the chat. So if you have any questions, as you mentioned, throughout the presentation, go ahead and shoot it. You know, we should be able to answer it pretty quickly, or you can go back and review this video at any time. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen here. We put together a PowerPoint just with just kind of an overview of everything you need to know as a facility and also as a participant. Let's go ahead and make this full screen.
Let's do it. I'm pumped for this. You excited?
I can't wait. I'm counting the days. I'm counting the days. And a lot of the athletes competing are wrapping up in the AU League or just wrapped up, you know, so I'm already itching for softball. It ended on Monday. You know, I'm like, when can we see some at-bats again? So this is perfectly timed.
Yeah. So this is pretty sweet. They wrapped up what, yesterday?
Monday. Yep.
They wrapped up on Monday.
Yeah, I think they're all flying home. So if you're watching this, safe travels as you're on your way back, and we're looking forward to watching you compete starting on Monday.
So what do you think, before you go into this, do you think the winner of this tournament is going to come from the Athletes Unlimited League, or do you think we're going to have a recent college grad or potentially international player top the board?
On the spot, Andrew, that's tough. That's tough. Okay, here's why I think the AU women have a little bit of an advantage is because they've had a lot of recent at-bats. So I've been in some great conversations with some of the players that unfortunately had their seasons canceled abroad. So this is a really cool opportunity for them to get in and compete and kind of feel like it's game day again, which is awesome. And I have no doubt that they've been training throughout the summer. But I do think the slide advantage comes with so many at-bats in the AU League and wrapping up recently. But got some heavy hitters, I mean, that are outside of the league as well. Amanda Lorenz down at the University of Florida. She's a coach there. She played for USSSA. I saw Amber competing out of California. I think she was a player of the year at Campbell a couple of years ago. So it's a strong field. It's a strong field. I think it's going to be exciting to watch.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm excited
too. What's your pick, Andrew?
Well, I mean, the women in that league absolutely drop bombs. Like if you watch them, they can absolutely hammer the ball. And I know the pitching is very, very high level. A lot of those athletes are also in the Olympics. And I really think that we're probably going to have a winner come from Athletes Unlimited, but I'm not going to lie to you. I'm probably going to be pulling for an underdog outside of that because that's just who I am.
Yeah.
I feel like I think you're right. They do have an advantage, but I am also pulling for maybe, like you said, Amanda Lorenz from Florida. Was that right? Is that who? Yep.
Florida.
Or somebody maybe outside of that circle. I think that would be a cool storyline to follow.
Yeah.
So either way, I think you're right. I think we're in for an awesome tournament. Just some serious athletes here. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, time will tell. Time will tell. So, all right, let's start getting into the nuts and bolts of it. As you know, qualifying round is going to open up next Monday. Games for the qualifying round, and this is important, can be played any day, at any time between October 5th and October 11th. So the expectation here is that you, as the athlete and the facility, coordinate directly to set up those game times. So that should be handled, again, directly between the athlete and the facility. We're going to get more into the nuts and bolts of the game itself, the gameplay itself. But just know that you have any day between Monday and Sunday to play all 3 games. You can spread it out. You can play them together. And if you have any friends that are interested in competing and are a little late to the draw, you can actually sign up and get your games in anytime before Sunday. So if you compete, you have a blast, you want to tell your friend to get in on the action, they can definitely sign up even as a qualifier has kicked off anytime before Saturday the 10th. All right, let's get into it. So talking to facilities here, there's not a whole ton of requirements to host other than the biggest one that you already have, which is HitTrax. The most important thing we really want to point out here is just if you haven't had an opportunity to calibrate recently, just go ahead and reach out to us at any time, either myself, Andrew, if you have our contacts, Bobby, or our support team at support@hittraxbaseball.com. They can get you calibrated. Again, there's a lot on the line here, so we want to make sure that we're tracking every hit and that you're getting consistent results. So a recently calibrated machine, a pitching machine, and this is an important change to what we've been publicizing, is 55-mile-an-hour plate velocity. So previously we had it set at 60, but in a lot of conversations with facilities that are using junior hack attacks, they only go up to 60 miles per hour. So for the qualifying round, it is going to be 55-mile-per-hour plate speed. And here's the importance here. So we register plate speed. So the machine is typically going to be anywhere from 4 to 6 miles per hour faster out of hand or out of the machine than it will when it crosses the plate. So really important to note, and just make sure that you're getting it right when you set up your machine for the tournament, that you set it up at plate speed. Anything lower than 55 miles per hour will not register. In terms of automatic feeder or manual, that's totally up to you. We'll track either way, and same thing on dimple balls or hard balls. So we're going to get more into the differences and similarities there, but we will track both, and both are eligible to compete in the tournament. And then the last thing is we need some kind of internet connection, preferably, it's Wi-Fi through the facility, but if you have to throw a hotspot, that should work too down the road for the bracket play. And then for the bracket play, we'll also be streaming a lot of those games. So, we just need some kind of device to send the link to stream. It's pretty easy. We'll send it to an iPhone, an iPad, a tablet, a GoPro, doesn't matter, as long as you can open it on that device. So that's about it in terms of facility requirements. Player requirements. So to compete, you must be a professional softball player, an Olympic athlete, or have graduated in 2019 or 2020. So we will definitely be checking that. We have a lot of international professional players competing. You are definitely eligible as long as you are a professional athlete, whether it's here or abroad, on an Olympic roster, or have graduated in the last couple of years. All athletes that are participating must register. And so we're going to get into how we send the invitation for the tournament, but we need to know where everybody is participating. So this is not an open tournament where, I could head to a HitTrax down the road and just hop on. There's a little bit of an admin process. So you will be assigned to the facility that you're participating at. So we really need to have some visibility in terms of where you are competing so that we can make sure that we get everything taken care of administratively. Am I missing anything there, Andrew?
No, I think you're good. The main thing I was going to say, going back to the last slide, I know on the baseball side, when we did this, some people had questions about what is high-speed internet. There's really not. I think pretty much anybody that had some sort of business network, as long as you don't have to run off a mobile hotspot, is going to be fine. And that's really specifically for the live streaming component. But as far as everything eligibility-wise, I think you covered it.
Cool. Awesome. And just a reminder, if you have any questions as we're going through this, feel free to shoot it in the chat. Andrew's monitoring that, so we can either answer it quickly or pose it to the greater group. So don't be shy there. Rules and regulations. So I'm sure this is why a lot of you signed on, is to just make sure that you know what you need to compete and how this is going to be policed. So again, the biggest thing is 55 mph minimum plate speed. Anything lower than that, the hit will not count. Let's talk a little bit about the pitching machine distance, 43 feet. Again, as we get closer to, or as we go into the bracket weekend, we may increase the pitch speed. If that's the case and you have a junior hack, you might have to move the pitching machine closer. But for the qualifying round, the machine is at 43 feet. In terms of bats, you can use your international bat, your ISF, your NPF, or NCAA. And then here's the important part here is on the difference of the dimple balls versus a hard softball. So the difference is you will have a greater performance with the hard balls. So the hard softballs are typically going to come off anywhere from 4 to 7% faster or higher in exit velocity than a dimple ball will. A lot of the feedback we also get on the softball side with those pitching machines is sometimes with hard balls that the pitching machines can be a little inconsistent. So the dimple balls might be a little bit more consistent in the zone. Hard balls might be a little bit, give you a greater yield on your hit. Either way, we're going to track true to the HitTrax. So we're not going to make any exit velocity compensations if you are using the dimple balls. That's just a decision that you're going to have to make. But we both will work for the tournament, and you can compete with both. We'll track both. Missed hits. So, it's rare, but it does happen. For whatever reason, the system didn't track something. It, went sharp high or sharp down, and it doesn't enter the field of view of the cameras. There's no compensation in the qualifying round for missed hits. It's just, you got to get ready for the next pitch. It kind of unfortunately is what it is. This comes back to the calibration piece of things. When systems are recently calibrated, we track a lot closer to 100%. And obviously that'll be our goal here. But it's really important to be aware that there's going to be no compensation for the missed hit in the qualifying round. Did you want to add something there, Andrew?
Oh, I think you got it. I mean, you'll get into it on the next page or so, but if they miss one of those hits, it is a bummer, but they will have 4 pitches on every at bat to be able to go after it. So, no, I think you're fine there.
Okay, cool. And this is important. I really want to get to this point because I see it a lot more in softball than I do in baseball. So first, let me start with this. I think there's going to be a lot of people in this tournament that haven't used a HitTrax before. It's really important, just so you know, when you're hitting with a HitTrax, we do our best tracking middle to back part of the box. So a lot of times when players are up in the box, the bodies or the bats or the arms are going to get in the way of the cameras. They throw something called reflections, and it gives us a really hard time tracking that pitch and that hit. So make sure that you're set up in the back of the box. That's, again, where we're going to do our best tracking. And then just going off of that term reflection. So I see this a lot more frequently in softball than I do in baseball. I think it has a lot to do with the gloss on the bats versus a wood bat. Or a lot of times, when players kind of wave as a pre-pitch or move the bat in front of the HitTrax, it'll read as a foul ball. So sometimes it'll catch the light of coming off of that, throw a reflection, and it'll again read as a foul ball either into the field or unfortunately, worst case scenario would be it causes a foul ball in the field or a hit in the field. So just be conscious of that. Do the best thing that you can to not wave your bat in front of the HitTrax and set up in the back part of the box.
The only things, and so I agree, beware that. The only things that we saw on the baseball side when people were back in the box doing that is you could potentially hit a ball that hits the top of the net and comes down and registers as a ground out or something, right? Good chance we'll probably miss the ball going up because it's straight up, and it could potentially track the ball coming down. If that happens, You kind of got to eat it. It probably would have been a pop out. There was another case where a guy, fouled the ball off or hit a little blooper to right that ricocheted off a pole and came through. Occasional things like that will happen. I think it was only a handful of times throughout the entire tournament. So yeah, like you said, we don't have a way to compensate and remove that play. So you just kind of got to deal with that and just make sure you're set up as best you can before the game starts.
Yep. Cool. For the bracket play, we will have our staff remoted into systems. So, we can almost be the police of that or the umpire of that. If something happens, we can remove a hit at worst case scenario. But for the qualifying round, it's going to be played as the system reads it. Okay, so let's talk about the format of the qualifying round. Single player teams. You're going to play 3 6-inning standalone games. So what that means is you're playing against the professional defense. And this is important. I'm realizing I forgot to put it on the slide, but the only field that you cannot play on is ASU. So ASU has a shorter shelf in 208. We will be checking this. You will be allowed to select your stadium on the HitTrax itself. We have a lot of softball stadiums. We have ASA. We have University of Minnesota. We have University of Arizona. So, any of those are fine. They'll be 220 all the way around. But the ASU shelf is too short. So it will not be allowed for the qualifying round or for the bracket play. So
on the stadiums, we want the softball stadiums to not MLB fields scaled down, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Pick a softball stadium. Exactly. 20-minute timer for each game. So whatever comes first, 6 innings or 20 minutes will be the end of that game. As many runs as you can score in that amount of time. Everything else is played straight up. So if you haven't hit on a HitTrax, it's a simulated defense. So we'll be able to tell you based on the metrics of the hit, if it was a single, if it would have been a double or a home run. So it's played like a standard softball game. We're using a 4-pitch rule for the qualifying round. So what this means is you have 4 pitches to put the ball in play. It's not balls and strikes. So if it's a foul ball straight back on the 4th pitch, that counts as an out. So 4-pitch rule for the qualifying round. And again, those games can be played anytime throughout the week. Cumulative score. So in real time, the way this works is in real time, your scores are fed live to HitTrax.com. So we're almost like game changer style, right? We're able to see what your count is. We're able to see who's on base. We're able to see your batting average, your box score. So in real time, all of your stats are fed to HitTrax.com. At the end of the week, or it'll be a live leaderboard or ranking. And then at the end of the week, the top 16 players with most cumulative runs scored across those 3 games is going to advance to the bracket play. They hit all the points, Andrew?
What do you think? How many runs is it going to take to get in the top 16? What do you think?
I think it's going to be in the 30s somewhere.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Do you remember what it was for baseball?
Yeah, it was like 3.
Well, it was like, it was low, single digits, but you might be right. It's only the top 16 for this, which is a little bit more exclusive. So if you think of the top 16 for baseball, you might be right.
I think it's going to be right around there.
I'm going to say 20. I'm going to say 20 runs gets you in. But I think
it's going to be a tight cut too. I think we're going to be looking at between a couple runs. And this is actually a good point. A good thing to bring up is the tiebreaker. So let's say it does come down to the end for that final 16th spot in the bracket play round. We are going to go with highest quality hit point total for all games. So what a quality hit point is, it's a score for every hit that you get. So it's calculated based on the exit velocity of the hit, the launch angle, the distance, the outcome of the hit. So those all factor in to give you a score from 0 to, I think the highest I've seen is somewhere in the 90s. But right around there on a sliding scale. So we're going to take, as your tiebreaker, we're going to take the highest cumulative quality point hit total to move on to the top 16. So I want to take a quick break here, and I want to show everybody the software, because again, I've had some conversations. I know this is going to be for a couple people the first time they're using a HitTrax. So I'm going to go ahead and share this screen. This is our HitTrax welcome screen, our desktop. Andrew, are you seeing this in full?
Yeah, you're good.
Great. So when you open the HitTrax desktop, again, your facility is going to be able to help you out with this. But this is the window that's going to be coming up. So if you have an opportunity, if you're not familiar with HitTrax, you have an opportunity to take a couple rounds before you start your qualifying round, we definitely recommend it. The other thing that you can do to get your pitching speed tuned in is go to this entertainment mode. So you're going to select your sport, fast pitch, skill level, professional. Reminder, Arizona State is off the list, play ball. So this entertainment mode is just going to give you an opportunity to see your ball flight. This is going to say tracking failure. Obviously, it's just connected to my laptop, so there's nothing plugged in. But in the upper left, when we have an incoming pitch, we're going to tell you that pitch speed. So you can really start paying attention. Okay, is that at 57? Is that at 60? Is that at 54? So minimum pitch speed, 55 miles per hour. You can test it out a little bit. Be mindful of, again, the reflection with the bat wave, and get comfortable where you're standing more back in the box than maybe you're used to. So this might be a good opportunity to take a couple rounds before you hop in. And then when you do go to start your round in the software, you're going to go gaming module. And then you're going to go right to this tab here, and this is called online series. So when you click on online series, again, this is why it's really important for us to know where you'll be competing. Is we will have it'll be the HitTrax open here, right? Division fast pitch. And then it's going to have your name on that system. So there's nothing more that you need to do than go to HitTrax open, fast pitch, and select your name. When you select whatever series you're playing, you'll get a reminder of the format down here. So we'll tell you the pitch speed, how many games you have. So it's going to be 3. And the amount of timeouts that you have, right? So if you have to pick up balls or something, just make sure you pause the timer. When you play ball, and this is what we mean by you can break up these games. You can play 2 games or 1 game that day, come back, play later, take as many breaks as you want in between, but just make sure you get those 3 games in.
A lot of the baseball guys in the tournament played a game earlier in the week and then just kind of hung around to see what happened later in the week. I'm interested to see what the strategy is.
We did see that in baseball. Yeah. A lot of people waiting till the second half of the week to see what the run total was going to be.
The only thing I was going to add on that you just showed is if for some reason players decide to change facilities, your name won't automatically appear there. So you need to just make sure you keep in touch with the link and us of where you're going to be hitting.
Yeah. Awesome. That's a great point. And you definitely can participate in one facility for the qualifier and another facility for the bracket play. But to Andrew's point, which is really important, just let us know where you're going to be. Bracket play. Okay, top 16 players will advance. Again, seeding is going to be based on total runs scored, but this is an important caveat here. We're also going to have to take into account logistical matchups. So ideally, we're not going to have 2 people at the same facility competing against each other in early rounds, assuming that most facilities have 1 system. So, with the matchup, you do need 2 systems. So, we can figure it out down the road. We did have that case come up a couple times on the baseball side, and we definitely worked through it. So it's no big deal. But for early in the rounds, we're going to try to avoid that as much as possible. We're going to try to pair up people in the right time zones or within an hour of each other to hopefully make the scheduling a little bit easier.
On the bracket, I think, what did we say we're going to do? We're going to do 2 16 seed brackets feeding together. Is that what we said, or was it
two brackets of 8?
Two brackets of 8. Two brackets of 8 feeding down, right?
Yep.
So what we were able to do previously is there were a few 1 seeds and a few 8 seeds. We're probably going to be able to match you up with the correct seed. So a 1 seed will almost certainly be playing an 8 seed, a 2 versus 7, etc. I think that's just important. We're going to try and keep that as close to possible with, a few little tweaks here and there.
Yep. And then I've also been asked this question a decent amount just in terms of time for, game times for the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So the way this is going to work, once we figure out those matchups, we're going to start a group text with both players. So everybody will have a point of contact within HitTrax, or a division manager, if you will, and we'll find a time that works for everybody. And then our job is to try to schedule your next matchup around the same time. So hopefully the goal here is going to be to get the first 2 rounds done on Friday, the semis on Saturday, and then we'll play the finals matchup on Sunday. And I say that because these games are going to be about half hour. So if we're able to schedule this according to plan, you might be waiting around for a half hour for your next game, but we should be able to roll your next game in, and so you're not going to be waiting around all day or anything like that. So the bracket matchups are a little bit different. If you've seen the HitTrax sync play, you're actually, if Andrew and I were playing against each other in separate facilities, we're going to sync up our systems using a code. He's actually in real time going to be seeing all the action, every single one of my hits. I'm seeing every single one of his, and we're going to advance together inning by inning through 6 innings. So it's played very back and forth, like a standard baseball or softball game. Again, the rule here is you have to advance inning by inning together. So if Andrew makes 3 outs in a row and I'm hitting for 10 ABs and I score 3 runs, he's got to wait to start his next inning until I wrap mine up. And then once we move on to the next inning, we'll take a little break, and then we'll start that inning together. So it's a really engaging matchup. This definitely, we're going to try to live stream as many of these head-to-head matchups as we can, do some broadcasting. It should be a lot of fun. Again, it's going to be single elimination on Friday. So you got 2 wins to get into the semi. And then the semis is going to be a best of 3 series. And then the finals is going to be a best of 3 series as well. How'd I do, AB?
Good. I'm getting pumped up. That's the fun stuff. I'm
Awesome.
excited. I want to talk about the money.
Right, let's go. Okay, so this is semifinals, finals. We kind of just chatted through this. These will be live streamed, so we'll be in touch to send you any device, again, a streaming link, and then our guy Tom, who's done a phenomenal job, will pull it together and get it live on our website and our YouTube. Our last little point here, is just a little bit of a plug. So we are really excited to be putting on the HitTrax Open, both on the baseball and softball side. A lot of this is just to create really fun and engaging opportunity to compete. But the other part of this is we came out with some really great tools on the online gaming side of things. And this is a really great opportunity for us to showcase those new gaming features. So in terms of the tournament, any assistance in promoting the Open would be awesome. So any reposts or tags or live videos that you feel compelled to do, of course, it's not obligated by any means, but just know that it would be super appreciated. Andrew, your turn.
Woo!
The money.
I like it. So this is beefed up a little bit for that first round, since we have 16 players. What this means is that you have, again, this is a free entry. All you have to do, find your HitTrax, play your 3 standalone games. And what do we have? Are we up to 35 participants so far, Elena? Is that right?
Yeah, we're right at 35.
So that probably will go up. I'm assuming we'll be at 40, 45, but you got to be top 16. If you are in the top 16 in total runs scored, you've got $250 in your pocket, right? It's over. Then if you win that next game, you win another $250. So this is where it gets cool, because these online sync play matchups, they're going to be, that's going to be a $250 game that they're playing, right? And then after that, to go to the semifinals, that's a $500 game, because you're bumping your payday from $500 up to $1,000 guaranteed, with the chance, if you win one of those semifinals matchups, to guarantee $4,000 in your pocket with a chance to win $10,000. I mean, that's pretty sweet. That gets me. I wish I could play. It just gets me so excited.
100%. 100%. Yeah, so everybody advancing to the top 16 is getting some kind of a payday with a little bit more on the line every single game. So it should be a lot of fun. We should definitely mention our partners, Marucci and Lizard Skins, who are putting together some incredible gift bags for you guys. So at the end of the tournament, we'll be sending out your check. We'll be sending out some HitTrax gear. We'll be sending out some gear from Lizard Skins, some prizes from Marucci. So, the top 16 is definitely where you want to be.
I like it.
Cool. All right. Well, before we sign off, if anybody has any questions, feel free to shoot them in the chat. We're happy to answer them. But I think
the chat's been quiet. I think the questions are going to come after the fact, but I think this is pretty clear. If again, we're excited to do this. I'm thrilled to see the athletes that we have. I think Elena, you've done a great job kind of corralling the community in on this and getting, people excited about it, especially the groups and Athletes Unlimited and pulling all these big name athletes. But, as you've seen, this isn't a tournament where you need to hit home runs every at bat, right? If you look at the semifinals of our baseball tournament, we had guys that were just very consistent hitters. Could they hit home runs? Yes. But they were also just simply hitting the ball on a line in the gap. And I mean, I'm really excited. So, again, you are kind of the commissioner on this tournament. But we're all here to help. And if anybody needs anything, especially finding facilities, that's the biggest thing I'd say is we can help you find a facility to hit. I know you've taken care of most people, but if you have friends that need help, there's HitTrax pretty much everywhere. And we can do what we need to do.
Awesome. Well, thanks for saying those things, Andrew. I think it's definitely been a team effort here at HitTrax, and I know a lot of players hopped in because they saw how fun the baseball side of things had, so they wanted in on the action. So we hope everybody that competes has a great experience. We're really excited to be hosting this. As I hope you feel free to reach out anytime if there's questions on the tournament, facilities. Importantly, if you need a calibration or you have any questions about getting things set up. Know that we're here to support you, and know that we just really want to make sure that everybody has an awesome experience. So good luck.
Go get your money.
Go get the money. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in.